Okay, why saving $10,000 in cash is a game changer. And for the purposes of this video, we're talking about $10,000 in cash because we're talking about a fully funded emergency fund. 3 to 6 months worth of cash in something like a high yield savings account so that you can respond to emergencies and also so that you can have the right mentality about your money, as well as some exciting things that you're able to do when you reach that level as far as flexibility is concerned. When I think about an emergency fund, there's two sides to it. There's the defensive side, which is being able to respond to emergencies and things like that. And there's the offensive side, some exciting things that you're able to do in terms of flexibility with your life and your finances. So we're going to get into all of this, but before I get started, I'd like to ask you, if you find my content valuable, to go ahead and hit that like button, also subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I upload a video. And by the way, you'll want to stick to the end of the video to learn about those more exciting things as you're able to go on offense with your finances by getting to that $10,000 mark, which for many people is the entry level to having a fully funded emergency fund. Okay, so let's get into it. Why is $10,000 a game changer as far as your finances are concerned? Well, like I was saying, it gets you to that entry point to where you have a fully funded emergency fund, okay? Think about it. If you have $3,000 worth of expenses, I'm talking bare bones expenses, not extras. I'm talking about those basic things where you can keep the lights on, where you can keep eating, where you can take care of yourself and your family. It's that bare bones kind of stuff. Now, if you have stuff like streaming services and that, and a big emergency happens for you, you may need to cut those things out. But you'll want to go ahead and keep paying for those very, very basic things, okay? Those expenses that you absolutely have to take care of. So you're going to need 3 to 6 months to really feel comfortable and know that things are going to be okay for you. So it's very, very important to have that emergency fund because something's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen to you, but there will be something because there's so many things going on out there. There's a lot of layoffs going on out there. I talked about this in a video. Different companies currently are laying people off, and that introduces a serious financial challenge for you. If you get laid off from your job, you're going to need that 3 to 6 months in order to find something to replace the income that you have right now. So it's very, very important for you to have that 3 to 6 month emergency fund because it's that rainy day fund. It's that bigger rainy day fund because it's going to rain. It's not negative to say that difficult things are going to happen. It's a reality. So you want to be ready with a 3 to 6 month emergency fund at least. I'll share with you that what happened for me personally is in 2019, we had a flood. We actually had a flood at our home. It rained and rained. In 2019 was when this flood happened for us. And that night it rained and rained and rained and rained. And it was unbelievable when the water came into our home. But the bottom line is once that water came in, there were all sorts of things that we needed to do. And I seriously thank God that I got the information that got me serious enough to have an emergency fund, because it would have been very, very difficult because there were so many things that we had to do. And I often talk about my hand shaking a little bit as I had to write large checks to contractors that had to come in and take drywall out of our home and had to do so many different things to bring us back to the place of where our home was not only restored to where it was, but actually we had the goal of making it even better than it was before the flood. But to do that and have that be a reality, there was a lot of checks that we had to write and things that weren't covered. Even though we had flood insurance, there's things that flood insurance does not cover. But rather than just tell you about all of these things, I'm going to show you some video of that time. I just thought I would do a little bit more video and show outside this window. I mean, the whole neighborhood is just still a lake, basically, out there. But at least the water is moving out. And of course, dealing with the insurance company and making sure that they understand that what we're actually dealing with. I'm sure they understand just because there's so many people affected right now. In a sense, it's kind of funny to say, but we're kind of lucky that ours wasn't 4 feet, 5 feet up inside the home. But it just shows what a few inches of water, that kind of damage that can be done by just that. Just wanted to take some quick video here. We're actually in a rental. It's kind of hard to see without, but our stuff is all in disarray. We're just bringing it all in. I'm gonna come closer here so you can see my beard here. I haven't shaved in a week. I'm about to shave all of that off. I finally did. You actually can see some of the grays. I'm just showing this to show that I am always clean shaven. I'm always doing that, but it's been such an ordeal just to kind of get things back to any form of equilibrium. All of our stuff is just in this rental. It's a really nice rental. We had to move everything out of the house, every single thing. So we have a storage unit as well as this rental, because we didn't even know when we got the storage unit whether a rental would be available. A lot coming out of pocket, even though we have flood insurance. So I just think about those people that have zero flood insurance, that don't have flood insurance. In my opinion, you've got to have flood insurance. It's a pain to pay those payments when nothing has happened. But when something does happen and you have no flood insurance, that's a bad deal. Anyway, I'll be making some more video of the home. They're in the process of gutting out the walls, taking out the insulation and everything like that 4 feet up. So hopefully things move along. Here's some quick video of the demolition, where it is right now. It's the dining room. Just wanted to take some videos starting here in the garage. Today is July 4th. And there's been quite a bit of work done. Washer and dryer units have been taken out. A lot of the 4-foot has been taken out. A lot of it has dried out at this point, which is a good thing. The sanitation, all of the chemical treatment is set for Monday. Previously it was set for Friday, but it's being delayed till Monday just because of some of the demolition work that has to be done still. See, this whole wall still needs to be done. But the crew, thank goodness, is working today on a holiday, and just because of the urgency of getting as much of the drywall out for airing out. I'm just doing some video. Now we have all of the dehumidifier and the fans blowing in the house all around. You probably can hear it roaring. It's a big time dehumidifier. We had a company come in to actually do the, I won't go in the restroom, the light's not even on, master bedroom rather. This is one of the dehumidifier units, huge, and all of the big fans blowing and drying everything. well positioned in order to get it all done. Okay, I hope that video gave you some perspective of how it can be to go through something like a flood. And there have been so many floods in different areas around the United States. In fact, even here in Texas, we recently had a flood, and it's just sad. Lives were even lost in that flood, which is the main thing. But there was also property damage and so on. So this is a reality, and having that $10,000 is important for things like that. Just like I said, I'm putting face tracking back on. But about the defense side of things, being prepared for an emergency like that, like having a flood at your home. But on top of that, there's the offense side. There's that exciting side of opportunity and how it opens up for you once you have that fully funded emergency fund. And we're looking at that $10,000 figure because that's kind of the entry point. Many Americans, around $3,000 in a month is what they need to cover expenses for their ongoing bills and that sort of thing, those basic bills that have you surviving on a regular basis. $3,000 is pretty typical for an American family. So if you look at that and calculate that out, a 3-month emergency fund, if your expenses are $3,000, comes up to $9,000. 3, 6, 9 for 3 months, okay? So it's a pretty good number to look at $10,000 to cover those emergency expenses for your fully funded emergency fund of that starter at least 3 months for many Americans, okay? But it's not only that it's to prevent you from not being able to face a challenge like a job loss. It's also to change your mentality about your total financial situation. Because I look at it, once you have $10,000, your mentality changes. And here's another thing. How do you get to that $10,000? How do you get there? Okay? Well, we've kind of talked about that in previous videos. Like the first video, getting your $2,000 saved. And then the second video that I did kind of on this topic about taking advantage of the company match that you have at work. That is awesome, being able to get a 100% return. Then we talked about getting rid of consumer debt, things like credit cards and so on. You want to get rid of all of that stuff. Now, when you get rid of credit cards and even things like car payments, many car payments are around $700 a month. And we even have folks with $1,000 a month car payments. That's crazy. But we have a lot of people paying $1,000 for a car payment. If you get rid of all of that, you're having somewhere in the range of $500 to $1,500 a month that you can dedicate now to saving and getting that fully funded emergency fund in place. And now at the time of this taping, we have so much going on. We have tariffs that are raising prices on the shelves where we shop and things like that. We have a bunch of layoffs going on in the economy. We also have deportations going on, where workforces in the fields and in hospitality and even in the tech industry and things like that. We have these deportations happening, and so immigrants are not showing up to work, and that has a domino effect in the economy. So all of these different things are creating big challenges, and so we need to have that $10,000, but once you have it, You know, once you've gotten out of the way all of those consumer debts, which is important to do because of the challenges, then you have the power of that money to actually start to build up that $10,000. Because think about it. Even a $1,000 car payment, if you eliminated that car payment, paid it off, or whatever it takes to get that out of your life, you're talking about 10 months, a measly 10 months of your life to get $10,000 saved in something like a high yield savings account. Then your mentality changes. Then you're able to see beyond your circumstances, and you're actually able to see building wealth into the future. There's also a concept that I learned in the book, The Simple Path to Wealth. It's called FU money. And as you can imagine what the F means, it's a four-letter word. I don't use profanity, and I definitely want to keep these videos at the most PG-13 or so. So I won't say the actual word. I'll call it forget you money rather than, as it's stated in J.L. Collins' book, The Simple Path to Wealth. But forget you money puts you in a place to where you can have options. Let's use the example of work. Let's say that you don't like where you work very much. Maybe it's not the right opportunity for you. Maybe there's difficulties with coworkers, all sorts of things, and there's another job opportunity for you. But you may have to move for that job opportunity. You have a little money where you can say forget you to this current situation, and you can take advantage of that new situation even though you have to go through a move. If you have $10,000 socked away, you can take a portion of that $10,000, make that move, and have that opportunity. So forget you money is a good thing. You can say forget you to things here and grab opportunity there. There's another piece too, just your mentality. Once you get to $10,000, you go through what it takes to get rid of your debts, and then you continue that discipline and save up to $10,000, 3-month emergency fund. Then you can actually see towards building wealth, because then you can pivot and start to put your money into things like paper assets. I talk a lot about the S&P 500 fund, or I personally invest in a total stock market index fund where you can start to use compounding interest for you. So think about these things. Think about taking the next step and actually getting that 3 to 6 month emergency fund. In fact, I would say don't think about it. Do it. Make it happen. Take the steps. Because this is the entry into you having the right mindset, and that to get to the point to where not only are you debt-free, and I say join the 23% and be completely debt-free, including your house, but you're moving on to being financially free, where you do what you want, when you want, how you want to do it. Again, if you find my content valuable, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. Again, I'd like to thank you for being with me on the walk. And like I said, join the 23% who are completely debt-free. Thanks again for listening.